inexorably, the 29th, the days are counting down. So shortly, we'll be at that juncture. But in the meantime, a lot of us in the press, we concern ourselves with setting agendas, is the way we put it. And also when we put that kind of a subject out, you're going to be watching there, and you will also join in. So how indeed should the next administration be, from the executive to the House of, to the National Assembly, to the House of Assembly? And our guest this morning is Honorable Segun Olulade. He's a former legislator in the Lagos State House of Assembly. He was at the time, that was the 7th and the 8th, assemblies of Lagos State. And you were former chairman of a Health Services Committee. In addition to being the spokesperson, I believe it was of the 8th?
7th.
It was the 7th.
Yes.
And then chair was in the 8th. You're very welcome, Honorable.
Thank you for having me, and good morning.
Our pleasure, always. So, you probably have an idea. We spent some time, I don't know if you wanted to touch on that, we spent some time yesterday and before that looking at who should be where, especially when we talk about the legislative houses, both the national and in this case now coming over to your neck of the woods. But in terms of setting the agenda, most people would say that, oh, well, if I don't know anything, I know that security and economy, those ones are going to be there. Yeah. And they will just keep quiet. They can be safe with those two. What other ones did you think we need to take a very, a particularly discerning look at?
Well, oftentimes we always talk about setting agenda for the government. And I think we should go beyond that this time around. We are in a very delicate and difficult period in our nation building. And when you look at it, it is the responsibility of both the governor and the government. Because when you look at it critically, we talk about economy, we talk about security as the main issue. And fortunately for us, we have somebody who have been tested in that area, that sectors before, in terms of economy of Lagos State, in terms of the security of Lagos State. Because we tend to forget that where were we coming from when we talk about insecurity, even in Lagos State then. You could recall that in the past, we have situations where armed robbers will write letters to a particular street.
That's right.
Informing them that they are coming, and they will come. And the landlord and tenant will be preparing to welcome the armed robbers in their houses. All those things became...
this is not a joke.
It's not a joke. So
I mean,
all those things became a thing of the past when Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the governor of the state. He introduced what we call Security Trust Fund. And from there, private sector got involved with the issue of security. It becomes an all-encompassing issue that everybody is now involved in. And when we look at the economy of Lagos also, because when people are talking about who and who should even be candidate before they even become before he became the elected president today, we can always put them on the table and look at who have done this, what is the pedigree of each individual. And to the glory of God, Nigerians have chosen wisely this time around. We have seen somebody who has been a core politician from day one, a Democrat to the core. He fought the military. He was a former senator. He was a former governor. So coming to the issue of setting agenda, even at the National Assembly, he was a legislator before he became an executive. Now he's also coming in with such an experience, bringing it to the table to develop our nation. When you talk about the economy of Lagos then, Lagos was just generating something less than 600 million naira per month. Today, we know what we are talking about. Even Lagos has become the 5th largest economy in Africa. Mm-hmm. So that shows us that we have somebody who is capable, who is competent, who have a vision, who also have told us that this is his lifetime ambition. That means he has been planning for it in the last 30 years of his incursion into politics.
Indeed.
Okay,
sorry. Because as as with anybody who would, want to run our affairs, who would want to become president, all eyes are going to be focused on the person.
Yeah.
And in particular, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I was just looking at a poll this morning, referring to all eyes being on him.
Yeah.
The president-elect, according to a news report, checking out how people search Google, Google rankings. The president-elect has polled 54% of searches to emerge the most searched candidates out of all of them. Now, this is up from 3 days going into the election when it was at 45%, still leading at 45%.
Yes.
And now here we are, the search has intensified such that Tinubu is now, he's polled 54% of the searches, and followed by a distant second of Peter Obi with 36%. And it then goes down the line like that. But I was just relating to that point about all eyes are on Tinubu.
All eyes are on him. And that's why I was also talking about the citizens, our own role. And I also want to set an agenda for the government of the day that coming few months, few days, we need somebody to turn around SON.
Standards Organization of Nigeria.
Okay. Our quality control must be strengthened. We have a lot of fake goods around. We need someone to also look at the issue of health and fake drugs in our system. A lot of people are being killed. We need someone who will be passionate enough in that health sector to stop the issue, and even agencies that will look into it critically. Because we are also, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
When you look at NDLEA today, we are happy because Bubamarwa is there. We are seeing development in that aspect. NAFDAC have gone down the ground since Akunyili. After the demise of that woman, I mean, nothing is happening in that area. So we need all those. It's our collective effort now that is needed to build this nation. It's not a one-man's job. And that is why when Ashwadi was talking about team spirit, a lot of them did not understand what this means by team spirit. No one man can run a government. No one man can rule a country like Nigeria. So you need the people around you. You need to place people. And when we talk about hunting for the best material, Ashwaju can't be compared with anybody on that ballot today. And we thank God that Nigerians have spoken, and they have spoken very well this time around. And we believe that this is a man who is a Democrat all through his life, who have contested election and who have won all his election to date. So he knows.
Can't we begin to take all of that for granted? Because there are people who maybe have campaign fatigue and are saying that, but the election is over now, and why do supporters of APC and indeed Ashwaju himself, why do they continue as if we were still in the campaign season?
No, we are not in the campaign season. We are just letting people know.
Okay.
You understand? There is
especially with all these musings about ING.
Thank you. Because we have so many things coming up. There is so much of ignorance at play in the country today because of the people who are just coming into politics that don't even know how government is being run. And you see a lot of things coming up. You see ING the other time interim government. You see somebody who's coming to the here.
But everybody has been cautioned.
And let me say this. The role, when we talk about religion incursion into our politics today, the role the media played, we must be frank.
How's that?
Because we have a media house that is known to everybody today, that all they do is to discredit the government of the day, is to put back in on the forefront of their media house, so that people can see the negative aspect of government. It doesn't just work that way.
Well, sir, wouldn't you say that's fair game? It
wasn't.
I was going to explain it.
Okay.
When you say balance, some media houses will have their leanings. I understand perfectly what you're saying, but we see it. Take in the U.S., for example, is the first site that comes to mind. Remember Fox News? There's nothing the Democrats could do that would be seen in the light that the Democrats would have liked it to. And those ones are also saying that. So what I'm saying is that it's sort of expected, and people know how to discount for the truth. You don't agree?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
That wasn't
media houses sort of select their candidates and back them.
No, they shouldn't be. They are not politicians. We are the politician. They allow the politician to run the system for them, and that is the problem.
Okay.
So because in 1993, why I say so is this: in 1993, Abiola Moshood Kashimawo appointed King Gibi to be his running mate. Nobody was talking about Muslim or whatever. They were looking at the possibility of winning the election.
Oh, okay, so it's in that connection.
Yes, it's in that connection.
With the same faith ticket.
The same yes. Why do we now bring religion and start talking about Muslim? And that is why other candidates now took advantage of it. You cannot continue that way as a media house. Okay. And I think the media house must correct themselves this time around. Okay. Moving forward, we now have a president-elect. Let us, all of us, come together to develop this country. It is the responsibility of both the media and the citizens to come together to develop the country. Doing so, you have to be patriotic enough.
Okay, sir.
You don't just bring issues that will cause chaos, that will cause disharmony within the system.
I hear you and I understand you, but I also seem to also see that people are capable, in fact, more than capable of defending themselves. If anybody has any excesses, they will be checked in that same public space because people cannot be forced against their will in a democratic situation. Is what I was
certain for the incoming government of Ashwal Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Chetima is the fact that now institutions we must continue to strengthen our institutions to function as expected. We have so many MDAs that are not functioning. We have so many agencies that are not functioning. This time around, those things should not happen. I just mentioned Standard Organization of Nigeria today. We're mentioning NAFDAC. We have a lot of them. Thank God for NDLEA that is now waking up. We have so many inferior material. You buy tire today, you are in trouble. You think you bought a very good tire for your vehicle. You are in trouble. You get into a pharmacy to buy drug. You don't even know what you are buying. You have fake Coca-Cola on the street. You have fake drink all over. Even when you are drinking water, you don't know the kind of water you are drinking.
It's interesting that you are emphasizing, you zeroed in on this from the beginning about standards. That the
quality control.
I couldn't agree with you more that the standards that we sort of observe, they're not what they used to be in terms of quality. And yet we can produce an appropriate standard, if not for sharp practices, where people are trying to perhaps extend the bang for the buck in coming up with all of these products. Now, it's not just in products, as you well know. I don't even know whether it is policing, whether it is everything.
There is rot in the system.
Thank you.
There is rot in the system, so and we need to change. In fact, if any government will come into power today and just maintain the rule of law, you can see what even happened in Adamawa. And I must give credit to Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu for coming out openly to say, no, that cannot happen. That is illegal. And that is the kind of government that we want to run.
Okay.
That is the kind of government I would like to see.
It's part of standards.
It's part of standards.
So it's not just SON.
It's not just SON.
It's part of standards as well.
Everybody is involved. That's why I'm talking about collective.
You're talking about a rebirth of the system.
Even the NOA that we have in the media, people should start educating our people. Information is key.
National Orientation Agency. Okay. Let me bring in Benga in Abuja. Benga is in Adamawa or Abuja?
In Abuja.
Okay, in Abuja. Good morning to you, Mr. Benga.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning to your guests.
Thank you for calling here.
Yes, this is a very important discussion. We don't want a National Assembly as a rank chorus. Some people believe that when there is unity, harmony between the National Assembly and the executive, they are rubber stamp. No. When a National Assembly that is focused, that has national interest, the interest of the Nigeria at heart, so that any bill, either private or from government passed to them, they will look at the national interest, not partisan, not tribal, and do the right thing. I want to give kudos to this night assembly. It's one of the best we have so far. There has not been any issue of conflict, buying, fighting, throwing bats, or impeachment threat here and there. If we look at the House of Rep, the leader, which is the Speaker and Deputy, they are Muslim, and you have not had anything religious in their painting, in their something. In fact, you will even think they are twins, and they have been able to do great, marvelous things. Look at the PIA; they were able to pass it. PIA has become like a jinx to Nigeria. We could not pass it for almost 20 years. They passed it. The Electoral Act that produced one of the best election in Nigeria, they passed it, and other things there. Even though you castigate them as overstand, to me, they have done wonderfully. And that's the kind of spirit we need in National Assembly. And I want to say, you are telling your girls that why should we be talking about what achievement of past?
Oh, I wish I could have heard that. Well, let me try and guess. Why should you be telling your guests that they are... I don't know. The only thing that I would have seemed to have, quote-unquote, contradicted you on was that, look, leave the press. They were made up of all sorts. And that it is, in a season like this, they will go where they want to go. But I sort of trust that people are able to defend themselves in that very same space that they might have spewed something that they are not in agreement with. Maybe that's what Benga wanted to talk about.
You see, you have a station here that have a feedback mechanism whereby people can call in.
That's right.
There are some stations they don't have such programs because they
It's
know
it's
just one-way traffic.
But we also have other conversation programs, sir, that we don't have that same feedback mechanism.
We know. But at least you gave us something that people can call in.
That's right.
It's not just one of the programs. We have about 4 or 5.
That's right.
That we have having people calling in and having the feedback of what they are talking about.
That's right.
But when you have a program that is tailored, that is programmed to just continue to destroy the country and put the government and the people of Nigeria in bad light in the eyes of and there's no
opportunity
and
to
even the only people they invite to their stations are those people who will collaborate with what they have their own agenda. So you can understand what we are talking about.
So it's part of the standards that
that we must continue to look into.
Well,
the issue of even the social media, we must be able, how could I post something on my social media, on my page, and somebody is cursing me, cursing my family, I mean, those things, we can't continue that like that as a nation. So coming to the issue of...
meanwhile, a viewer has come on the line. Mr. George in Ikeja has come on. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Uncle Yori, I greet your guest. I want to go straight to my point.
Straight.
Because I don't want you to shut me down. Please give me 90 seconds.
Okay.
Setting of agenda. Uncle Yori, I want to see the president set a target for ministers. A situation where ministers just do what they like and they are not checked can no longer be tolerated. I heard a minister last week saying that for the 8 years he has been there, the president has not asked him of anything that goes on in his ministry. How do you get results like that? Somebody brought in fuel to this country that killed so many cars. Nothing happened to him. The president asked a service head to go to the war front and do something. 2 weeks later, the president went there. He did not see the person, and no action was taken against it. What kind of leadership is that? That must not happen again. Then, Uncle Yori, when an appointee does something that is wrong, there should be sanctions. Look at Lagos State. A building fell, 14-story building fell, and it was discovered that the approving authority did something wrong. 24 hours later, the commissioner of that ministry was forced to leave. That will send a signal to others. That's what leadership is about. And then when you are sending names of those you want to appoint as ministers to the National Assembly for clearance, add their portfolios. We want the legislators to ask them relevant questions. From there, you can gauge, is this person capable of doing the job or not?
All right. Then. Thank you.
Eventually, they are appointed.
Okay, Mr. George. Thank you very much. Sort of a nice set there, won't you agree?
Yeah.
Although how about that last one? Maybe start there.
Yeah, the last one is not compulsory.
But it's helpful.
It's helpful.
It's helpful to the legislators.
A new dimension into our legislative.
Exactly, and I was guessing that you people might not like that.
No, it's good. It's good that
because
way.
Because if we begin to give
because
an indication
I want to engage whosoever is coming before me based on what you have. If we can do so with other agencies and also, why can't we do it with ministers to say, okay, you are coming to be the Minister of Defense. What do you have? So we Nigerians can ask question on that and let him or her tell us what he has in stock for the nation. I think
although it's not the tradition.
It's not the tradition.
The tradition is take a bow and go.
Just not just take a bow.
If you are ranking, they say take a bow.
Yes, that is if you are a legislator, because they already know that you know what is expected of you. Because as a legislator, you have that responsibility to do oversight.
Okay.
Those ministries. So if you can do oversight on any ministry that you are in the committee, why can't you now do the job? So I think that is taken. If a legislator is a normal norm within the legislative business.
Okay, Mr. Joshua in Irewolede, good morning to you, sir.
Yori, good morning, and I greet your guest.
Yes.
The last election, as we know, Uncle Yori almost set this nation ablaze on grounds of religion and ethnicity. Those things were very, very unnecessary, but we must recognize that everything peaked with that election. Everything peaked. The situation had been obvious. We're going to have that problem. So this situation of the election that has successfully happened now, and we have a president-elect, I think is a consensus on Nigeria, or from all Nigerians, that we want a Nigeria to have as a nation. So we can put all those things behind us. So the agenda for the new president or the president-elect should be to pursue this Nigeria project. It is Nigeria we want, Uncle Yori, not a Christian Nigeria, not a Muslim Nigeria, or, any other ethnic consideration. All those things have failed. I want the president-elect to build on it as a nationalist. He should offer himself as an example, like he did in Lagos, as an example of a nationalist that is leading one nation, one Nigeria, so that we can succeed together. And finally, sir, I want to say to the president-elect that this nation is not a one-man job. Nobody can do it alone. This idea that Tinubu is coming to change everything is a wrong narrative. The president-elect can come and set an agenda for a nation that will be successful. He can't do it alone. So we have to know that it is our job as Nigerians. I've always said Nigeria has no problem. But we, the Nigerian people, am I willing to change? Am I willing to offer my own contributions? So it should be that we, the people, are ready to work with the man that is ready to lead us. That's how we can succeed. So Excellent. It will not be Tinubu will do it for us, but we'll do it for ourselves. Indeed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua from Irewolede. And it's quite interesting where the program is going, because that's what happens when you allow a lot of people. Which, by the way, I understand from those of you that are close to him that this is a Tinubu style.
Yeah, that's always been, and that is why we want him at the federal.
This is exactly.
Because that is what he has done in Lagos. We can see what he has done. We can in every area where you talk about ethnicity. He's a man that does not see you.
He's a nationalist.
He's a nationalist. Doesn't see you.
That's what Joshua was relating to when he said he's done it in Lagos. He didn't expand on it, but I could read it, and everybody knows what he means, that Lagos is not made up entirely of Lagosians, unless you want to define Lagosian as a person living in Lagos. So that's a different thing. So it's just about, wherever there was talent, where there was capability,
if you can do it,
you see him supporting all of that. So nationalism, which Tinubu already is, he's a great nationalist, is what Mr. Joshua seems to be saying, is that is, he expects no less once he arrives at the center, and he sort of feels optimistic that this is indeed going to be, in other words, without fear or favor, without, and then the whole job of rebuilding. Yeah. He explained that, and we all know that there were challenges. All this,
it's clear, it's obvious that,
all of that. But we'll come back. Let me quickly go on, a break, and we'll be right back, and then you take it from there, sir. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back, and we'll keep on taking your calls.
In the month of April, 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day, while April 7th is World Health Day, and on the 14th is the 9th anniversary when government girls secondary school students in Chibok, Borno State, were abducted by Boko Haram terrorists. On the 22nd of April is World Earth Day, while on the 25th is World Malaria Day. 28th is World Day for Safety and Health at Work. Brace yourself and tune in to TVC News this April for in-depth reports, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Only on TVC News.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Laborlands, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Laborlands, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Okay, welcome back. My guest, Honorable Segun Olulade, and we're sort of looking at setting the agenda for the incoming administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect. And we've been receiving all sorts of, suggestions. We ended up on the nationalistic aspect of it. The man is a nationalist, and the country, there are those who say it needs some healing. It needs some healing from some things that happened. It's not as if it was perfect in that regard, pre-election and into the election. But he's the man for the job in that regard. There are indications of that already. But the National Assembly itself, we've been hearing all sorts of things about the leadership and the role that it must play. I think it was Benga who called in from Abuja who was saying that, look, we have to be careful here. We don't want a confrontational or a belligerent National Assembly. That's not the whole idea. But that doesn't mean they also need to be a rubber stamp.
Well, I don't understand when they mention the issue of rubber stamp. Okay. What kind of, are we looking at an hostile legislative form of
Not hostile, but
when you say a legislator is a rubber stamp legislator,
it means that it's a complete agreement with the executive all the time.
Well, it might be all the time if the executive, for me, yes, if the executive are doing the right thing all the time. But when we say we don't need a rubber stamp,
yes,
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand the fact that there is a rubber stamp legislator who will not even check whatever that is being sent to them.
Now, this is what they say we don't need.
A situation where we do not have a hostile legislature is what Nigeria needs at this current time. We need an healing.
Have we ever had a hostile legislature?
We have. Even 2015 to 2019. And you can go back. Bukola Saraki. You can go back and see what they were able to achieve with that legislative arm of government and compare with what the Lawal Gbatabi Amila were able to also achieve in this current Ninth Assembly. So it doesn't really matter.
But as you know, Bukola Saraki came from a different political party. Never mind the name, never mind the card that he was holding. As you know, at that time, he was effectively PDP. But he did have the passport of APC.
Yes,
remember?
He has the passport of APC.
That is how it worked. And he's now reverted back to his, domicile, his natural domicile. But in the meantime, Mazi Okoroafo has come on the line. Good morning to you, sir. Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu.
Yeah, that's what we come from Arochukwu. The agenda we are talking about now is that we have the president, we have the vice. What we need now is the Senate president and speaker. Now, the Senate president now, we're talking about the eastern wing. Let's go to the southeast and pick Senate president, irrespective of political party. That is the story. Then we now talk about speakership. The speakership, North Central, they don't have anything there. We go to North Central and pick speakership for the House of Reps. Secretary to the federal government, we go to South. Now, Yori and our guests, we have to balance the equation of Nigeria. Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Muslim, Christian, no matter your religion, no matter the political party, let's look for competent hands and then the church start talking about the ministerial appointment. Honestly speaking, equity is very, very important. If we wait to mix the equity, instead, we have a problem. Equity is very, very important because anything we are doing is equity. We have to move forward. So, the agenda is very, very important.
All right.
Let's keep aside religion, keep aside tribe, keep aside political parties, and get into what I will advise the president-elect. This issue of recycling should not come on board. Because we continue going back to recycle. We are going back to make the same mistake. People say about corruption. You see how corruption is clamping as if it's a ladder. If you look at Maslow hierarchy of theory, you see that from the graduate, because the corruption is going high. How do we solve it? Look at the rate of unemployment. Look at the rate of, they are telling us that vaccine of malaria, Nigeria started, but Ghana, Ghana started implementing that vaccine for malaria. Now, why must we go to India to look for vaccine? Whereas we have from Vest, they produce. We have Ibadan. We have Umudike. We cannot sit down here in Nigeria, produce this vaccine. Many people are tired of what malaria has happened, especially malaria is getting out of the country. 75% of people that die in Nigeria is because of malaria. And we have the authority and we don't want to be so. President-elect, go and find the solution to what our medical sector, bring in competent hands that will make so that this issue of malaria, look at cholera.
All right then. Okay, Mazi, I hear you. It's an important. Mazi is emphasizing health among other things.
Let me quickly correct that also. Yes. I am not I'm not going to buy into everything he has said concerning the issue of Senate presidency.
You heard his ideas.
Yes, I also do not buy into
Southeast for the Senate President, North Central for the House of Reps.
I do not buy into it. I'm a legislator, and we must understand something about legislation, about the parliament. The parliament is an independent house, and they have the right to produce whosoever is going to be their own leader. But for me, I still believe that since the leader of the presidency has come to the south, and the Senate president, the vice president have gone, the Senate president should come to the south. If it is the vice president have gone, the Senate president should come to the south. If the only south that it cannot come to is the southwest, it can be in the south-south, it can be in the southeast. Whatever, whosoever is.
That is Senate presidency.
That's for Senate presidency.
Okay. And then very quickly, he also suggested North Central for the
speakership. Well, for speakership, it will also go to the north. Either it's going to be northwest or north central. That is, but it cannot go to northeast because that is where we have the vice president. Aside from those ones, the issue of the secretary to the federal government is the
that one should be south-south.
No. You can't bring that on the table.
Yes.
You can't bring that on the table.
That's up to the president.
It's up to the president to decide who's going to be the secretary
of his government.
Now, every state also have the responsibility of producing at least one minister
Let me not delay Miriam in Abuja any longer. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I think for setting the agenda for the National Assembly, I think Bola Tinubu should start in a very, very good. She should start right. I think for fair play and for justice and for all you want to say, I think the Senate President should go to the Southeast. This is my humble submission. I think for there to be healing already, as you know. The Southeast is already feeling, that they have not had a good chance in this administration. So I think we should give it to the Southeast. That is for that. But I think for setting agenda for Mr. President, I think the National Orientation Agency is a very, very good department. We should look for a very competent person who will push out, all the things that we need to know as a country. You understand, there's so much healing to be done. That department is a very, very important department, and we should look for somebody who is very competent, somebody who can push out the agenda of Mr. President, somebody who can tell us what Mr. President is doing, his achievements, and all he intends to do. He should bring out somebody who will be able to communicate with the Nigerian masses.
Okay.
He should bring out somebody who will be able to push out all the policies that are good for this country. It is very, very important. That ministry or that department is vital to the success of whoever becomes president, and that is Mr. President himself, Bola Tinubu. I believe he will do something very good there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the program.
Also to Madam Miriam, I also will not agree totally with her concerning the issue of Mr. President-elect be the one that will decide whatever happened at the legislative of the parliament.
He's the leader of his party.
Yes, he's not the leader of the party.
Okay.
He's the leader of the party, is president. As the leader of the party, the party as a whole must sit down and zone. It's not about individual now, because they want to put all the blame on him. That's why they keep talking about Tinubu should ensure that whoever is going to be speaker, whoever is going to be Senate president. No, but it is the party. When the party sits down, yes. I also want to implore all our legislators, especially those from the APC, caucus, do not truncate the brilliant ideas and visions that this president, our president-elect, has for this country. Yeah. Do not become an enemy to the nation. Please, whatever the decision of the party, I'm not a party whatsoever, but whatever the party have decided concerning where the Senate president should go, please, as a legislator, so that you also, as a member of that arm of government,
be a good party man. Once you've had this parley and you've come to certain understanding that
this goes to this goes to that. Please let us just abide by it.
Because the executive can't come and vote in the National
Assembly.
They can't. But you remember
we have seen it before.
President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
In his time at that stage of putting together an administration. Remember, he had said what looked like a very idealistic position. Say, it's not, my hands are not there. It's a totally different department. Legislature should go and talk among themselves. I must be seen. Now, a lot of people said, oh God, they know they do it like that now.
I know they do it like that too.
But you could understand, the president was being idealistic. Yes. Say, look, agree among yourselves. That's what, strictly speaking, it should be. But since then, we've heard commentary from knowledgeable people that, no, the president shouldn't have gone that way.
Yeah, because we are having, as at that period, we're having a fabricated party. People, factionalized party, or how will I put it now, that are not still well cohesive as expected.
Yes.
So you see a situation where we have the PDP, we have the CPC, we have the ACN, all in the one part.
Mr. President just said, look, you guys sort it out among yourselves.
And I think that was a wrong move.
So that was the way it went then.
It was a wrong move.
People are now saying
the party,
yes.
And that is where I was talking about
possibly
earlier,
the party is more
that
cohesive.
The party The party includes the leader of the party and every other national working committee of the party and every other stakeholder within the party must be able to sit down and say, for this certain position, should go to, you see,
but they'll also want to sample the president's opinion when he is the president, about Tinubu when he becomes president. And you're having these kind of conversations. Of course, people will be people will be cocking an ear as to.
Yes,
by the way, can we get the impressions of the Mr. President?
Yes,
and it's going to be quite influential.
Yes, it's definitely.
It's going to be quite influential.
Definitely. You know? That's why I'm appealing
so he can't make any orders
to that harm of government.
He can't make any orders.
Not to become an enemy.
Okay, he can't make any
because
orders.
Because once you have an hostile legislator, you will not even enjoy your that session.
Okay, Reverend Dominic. Good morning, sir. I don't want to keep you waiting.
Good morning, Yori. Good morning, Shegu.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Shegu, I want to appeal to you. Sweet, I have a lot to say. Let me go because I don't have much time. I want to appeal to you, to appeal to your party, to help this incoming government work. Yori, you are saying yesterday that the former CBN governor, Sanusi, was saying he feels sorry for next president.
Yes, yesterday.
He feels sorry for the president, who by June 1st, he will inherit census. By June 1st, he will inherit subsidy mobile. By June 1st, he will inherit a salary increase to civil servants. With the kind of economy we have, this government makes it so impossible. Do you know what, Yori? I look at Ashwaja as a magician. When the last time we contested elections, so to use this word, Ashwaja not only contest with opposition, Ashwaja contested with party members, party government officials, scarcity of money, created by his own government. Please, Shegu, you are a member of APC. I have questions about Ashwaju. Will they allow this man to govern well, to make things certain easy? That enough is going to inherit by June 1st. Who does that? Number two, Yori, I don't know what happened. I'm so glad Ashwaju won this election. People who is raising sentiment of Igbo outside Yoruba, he will balance his government well. He has done it in Lagos here. Me today, as the former spokesman of APC, all of us are not gathered in Southeast because we support a government in Lagos. You know about the former spokesman of APC, who is an assistant on what they call it now. What I'm trying to say is this. Ashwaji is a gentleman. He's a Yoruba man. When a Yoruba man came into power, the balance government well. You can talk anything about Obasanjo. Obasanjo balance his government well. He put every sentiment in the right place. What I'm trying to say, the most impediment to this government is APC and the government. Shegu, please get your people to make this man work very well. There's enough stuff they're sitting for him not to succeed. Let's not talk outside. Let's talk about inside. God
all right.
Bless you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in, Reverend Dominic. Your commentary there, yeah, really, it's an APC man that should really comment on this, in the sense that he's saying that sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. You know, yes.
And that is one of the reasons I was talking earlier. That has to do with our party. The members of the parliament of the 10th Assembly now, they must be ready to sacrifice. They must put the nation first before themselves. Anyone who goes against the party position this time around should be seen as an enemy of the nation.
But why would anybody want to go against the party?
No. I mean, we have different character in the system. We have different character in the system. So we need somebody who every legislator now in the 10th Assembly must be ready.
That's going to be a work. Part of the work is going to be with Tinubu himself. If people are going to be unruly, even a family, if you're a father, you've got to find a way to bring people together.
For Tinubu, I have confidence in him. I know he has that capacity to bring everybody together. He's not a tribalistic person.
Exactly.
He's not somebody who's talking about religion or no religion.
Somebody was saying on our program yesterday that, is it North Central? It is that the contribution of North Central to Tinubu's victory, you know,
it's massive.
It is what it is. It is the greatest contribution.
Yes.
So, I mean, certainly nobody thought about tribalism in that regard.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Mohammed in Abuja. You're our last caller today.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much. And thank you, your guest. I just want to correct my statement yesterday. I was expressing myself.
If you want to go there, it can be very helpful, yes. Yesterday, I thought you had said something flippant, but if you want to sort of clarify it more now.
In that, every part of this country, everybody is needed. What I'm saying is that now, since the Southeast have tested this Senate president several times, please and please, let's allow the South to test. Then the Southeast, they should be given speaker. We did not. We can surrender everything. The North has nothing to lose. We can surrender everything. We can take the deputy Senate president speaker. They can give South Senate president, the Southeast speaker.
Okay.
I don't mean that we don't need South.
That we don't need Southeast. So are you effectively apologizing to your listeners and viewers?
I apologize.
That got the impression when you said they can go. Are you withdrawing that and apologizing?
No, I wanted to say they can go with speaker.
Okay.
Then they put me off.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed, for calling in and sort of explaining it, that you are not disrespecting anybody. In fact, I think I have actually got something of an apology in there. He said, yes, I do apologize. Thank you very much for doing that, because you don't want to be misunderstood. And I think you've gone some way in that regard. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for calling in.
Sincerely, we need everybody in this project, Nigeria. I mean, everybody is important.
And that's one thing that Tinubu is going to illustrate and demonstrate.
Yes. And that's why we have that confidence in him, that we have a president that will be a president for Nigerians. It will be a president for a certain set of people. It's not going to be a president for Christian or Muslim or Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa Fulani.
Indeed.
It's going to be a Nigerian president. And as such, we are happy that we have him coming to lead our country at this critical period. Because if it were any other fellow, maybe Nigeria would have been more divided than we ever thought of. So for me, I think he has the capacity and is going to do it.
He is, because how do the Igbo people say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating, right? And I think he has said it already, and people will see it, that the man is the president of Nigeria.
When you look at his recent statement he issued yesterday concerning the Adamawa,
exactly.
You see that statesmanship.
No, anyway you look at it,
and
the man
you can't just bargain for less with Ashwaji.
He's never been a sectional leader.
He hasn't.
I mean, one of his most popular titles is Jagaban Bogu. I mean, for goodness sake, the man has hundreds of titles, but one of the most popular ones is Jagaban Bogu. Well, between Jagaban Bogu and Ashwaju. Those two are his most popular. That gives you an indication of the man. But Honorable Olulade, I want to thank you very much for coming on and helping with this conversation, and to you also out there contributing to it, a potpourri of ideas that the incoming president will have to take on. And thank you, Reverend Dominic, for reminding us about what I said yesterday. I was quoting or paraphrasing the former emir of Kano, who has said that he doesn't, he doesn't envy the incoming president giving all the things that he's going to have to attend to with excellence.
And that's why we're saying that he can't do it alone. We need everybody.
It's a community.
All of us is involved.
Okay. All right then. So that's our program. Thank you once again. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
Of Abuja.
If you're not real, you will be consumed, okay? We have an intruder in the house. The meter of the disgrace is rising. You're old.
Who said I need deliverance?
Ha! Deliverance! It wasn't me. She got me on the Wasn't me. Arafat pulled me aside for a chat. No.
The Real Housewives of Abuja, only on Showmax.
To watch this and other Showmax originals, simply add Showmax to your DSTV subscription using the My DSTV app.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle?